Hi there, Emmanuel here, and today we're going to talk about Forex trading like the banks. Yeah, I'm going to tell you a bit more about the group that I personally trade with, who have found a way to trade. They find a system and the way that they trade with the banks. They trade in the same direction as the banks. So when the banks make their big moves, we ride their coattails and just for huge profits sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And in a second as well, if you hold on a second, I'm actually going to give you access to that group completely for free. That's 5, 6, 7-figure earners. It's going to show you the two very, very simple patterns that we found on the charts that you can use and why we're getting so much success using them. And you can get completely free access to that for next week. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. So anyway, so let's get started with this trading Forex like the banks and how you can kind of learn to trade in the same direction as banks. Yeah, instead of what most people do, they trade against the banks with this support and resistance and trend lines and all this sort of stuff, which are all traps actually. But anyway, so let's get started. So I've got here the top 10 Forex currency traders, and you can see it's all banks. Yeah, Deutsche Mark, the UBS, Barclays, Citi, Royal Bank of Scotland, all the top 10 traders are banks. So if these are the people that are moving the markets, what you want to do then, you want to get on the same side as when they're moving it rather than trading against them. Now what most traders do, unfortunately, they use things like support and resistance, trend lines, all these things that you can make them work, but only a very small percentage of people, of traders, can actually make that work. And they don't get very huge risk to rewards. They get quite small risk to rewards. Whereas when you now start to work out how the banks move, you can then get huge risk to rewards and you can be super accurate. I want to show you a trade. And I also want to talk to you about a trade we took with Bitcoin as well. But I want to show you a trade that I took yesterday. So now this is one of the strategies like I said, there's two very simple strategies and patterns that we teach. And they're very easy to see on the charts, and we can train you how to do that. And like I said, if you want, you can come and train with us next week for free. So one of the first ones is a box. So we look for a box. So this, like this here, just where price sort of starts to go sideways. Yeah, in this little bit here. We call this like just a bit of consolidation here. And then we also look for something we call a banker's candle. So yesterday, there was some news. News coming out of America, and it was the release was about here. So, you know, again, price was going sideways. I saw this area here and I saw this big candle here, what we call a bank's candle. So I set up for the trade because this is one of our strategies. And then look at it. The news came out, it triggered you in, and then boom, you see these big candles here. That's banks. This is when banks get involved. This is when those banks that I just showed you, when they're buying, when they're taking off. And this is where I got in here and I just rolled the coattails of the banks. Look at this entry here. Look how precise that is. Because I knew, well, I assumed it was coming to this area, this box that we trade. It wicked in like zero drawdown and just took off. Got a 1 to 4 out of this. And really, I mean, I got out here for 1 to 4. That's 8% increase on my account. That means for every 1% I risked, I get 4% return, and I risk 2% on my trades. So look, if I rolled it, you could even have rolled it right up to here. That would have been a 1 to 5, and I think it's even going to go higher. I think you're looking at a 1 to 5.5, maybe a 1 to 6 out of this trade. But yeah, took this yesterday, 1 to 4, done and dusted, 8% increase on your account. When you know the areas that the banks are coming to. Yeah, they have to trade a certain way, and we've worked that out, and we can show you that as well. Another thing I wanted to show you was Bitcoin. Now, here's a Bitcoin chart. This is in replay. This was back in the 25th of April 2021. Now, I don't know if you remember, Elon Musk with Tesla, he sent the price of Bitcoin into free fall in May when he said that Tesla would stop accepting cryptocurrency for payment. And as well as that, China said they also aren't going to accept Bitcoin, which is what made Bitcoin collapse. Yeah, but we knew about that. We were talking about that, and the owner of our group, his name is Michael, was talking about this candle, because this is another one of our strategies, a banker's candle, was a sell off this candle. Nothing to do with the news. We knew nothing about Tesla, knew nothing about the Chinese, just the patterns. We trade two simple patterns. And this is the patterns the same way the banks move. So back in April, 26th of April, before the news was released on the 1st of May, the Tesla news, we were already setting up for this candle here to sell. You can see the entry there, stop loss there, 1 to 5. And I'll play this. This is in replay mode. Well, let me play it for you. So up it came, you know, and let me see when May was. That's the news release was now. Yeah, so they released the news there. And we were still set up for this candle. It whipped into that candle and it took off. Yeah. Look at it. Look at, again, look how accurate that is. And look at that. Look at it, just collapsed. The news came out. Look at this. 1 to 5 in a few days time. And it just carried on falling. I mean, you could have held it for some beautiful profits all the way down. But you see what I mean? We were talking about that from here in April. It had nothing to do with the news. It's all manipulated. It's all set up. It's all set up. Most other, unfortunately, you know, if you was a trend line trader, just have a quick look at this. If you was a trend line trader and you were looking at this and thinking to yourself, oh, look at this beautiful trend line here. I'm going to buy off here. Well, you would have just got your whole account ruined. Do you know? And that's because, you know, the banks trade a certain way. And when you can get on their coattails and ride it, you know, you're not going to get it right every time. There's no trading strategy in the world you can get right every time. But if you can get the risk to reward right, and you can get, say, even if you got 1 in 5 of these trades, you would be profitable. Yeah, and that's the difference between trading, you know, this sort of stuff, trend lines and support and resistance, and trading in the same directions as the banks, you know. So they're the people that move the market. If you can get on the right side of them, whatever you're doing, whichever strategy you're using, if you can get on the right side of them, then you know then you're going to be profitable, because you're going to be able to get involved in these sort of big moves. You know, when banks get involved, that's when you want to be in the market. Yeah. Anyway, listen, I hope that helped. I hope you got some value from this. If you do want to come and train with us, yeah, like I said, I'm going to give you access to our group, yeah, and give you access to these two simple patterns that we look for all next week completely for free. If that's something you're interested in, then all you got to do, if you go into the description, you click on the link there, and once you've opted in, you'll get details on how you can get into the group completely for free. There's no credit card, there's nothing. Come and train with us for free. As well as that, I'm also giving you access to my 10-part free course, Forex course, that will show you some of these patterns, that will show you what we look for, and maybe show you some of the mistakes that you're making on charts at the moment. You know, so if you're interested in those things completely for free, then links will be below. The training starts Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 5 p.m. GMT UK time, and it goes on all through the week. And you can get to ask us questions, you can ask the leaders questions, you know, come and see what we do, see why so many people are getting so successful in our group, and, you know, just decide if you like it or not, you know. So anyway, you know, links for that will be below. But either way, I hope you got some value from this. If you did, please take a second, just give it a thumbs up. Also share it with anyone else you think might get some value from this as well. If you have any questions at all, any questions on this, maybe on anything to do with your trading, please don't hesitate. Just leave it in the comments box below. All right, once again, thanks for listening. Until next time, take care. I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.